whoa, got Michael Jackson in the car. That made it even worse. They got even worse. They started lifting the gun and get back, shouting at me. Mike, you need to come out. He's going to shoot me or something. He comes out of the car, walks up, takes the camera. Hi, Michael Jackson. He's like, get back. They got back in the car. I said, Mike, that didn't work, did it? He goes, oh, sorry, Matt. And then we drove off. I'm Matt Fiddes, and I'm most known for being Michael Jackson's friend and personal bodyguard. And then I have the largest chain of martial arts schools and dance schools in the world. And I'm a property investor.
How did you come to become Michael Jackson's bodyguard?
The baby incident, there's a bit more to that story. I was in the room on that one.
Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, kind of. I can. Okay, I'll tell you it. So basically, my view on property as of now, don't do it. It's getting regulated so much now where I've even thought, sell up. The government don't recognise it. They've got no respect for private landlords whatsoever. Farage is a good friend of mine. He says to me, Matt, there's no one on the front bench of Parliament who've ever had a paper round in their life, let alone a business. And they're running the economy, and the economy is a flipping business. Bought my wife a yellow F8 Ferrari Spider, 300 grand machine on the back. I said, guys, do you want some publicity? Drive the Ferrari back in between the gates. I stood there like this, put on my Instagram. Within 5 minutes, Sun, the Mail, picked up that story. They don't care if it's true or not. No one asked to see the damage. And halfway through I talked, someone whispered in my ear, said, just to let you know, your Ferrari story is the biggest story in the world.
You became a millionaire by the time you were 19.
I'm spending $1 million a year.
If you had to do it all over again, what would you do?
Wow, that's an interesting question, right?
So Matt, for the listeners, who are you and what do you do?
Yeah, I'm Matt Fiddes, and I'm labelled as quite a few things. I guess I'm most known for being Michael Jackson's friend, or former friend, and personal bodyguard. And then I have the largest chain of martial arts schools and dance schools in the world. And I'm a property investor. Yeah, it's hard to sum me up, but that's pretty much what I am. Entrepreneur. I'm an entrepreneur with a different
one word.
Entrepreneur, been mentored by Michael Jackson. I guess that's what I am.
Yeah, so I guess that's the starting point. How did you come to become Michael Jackson's bodyguard?
Well, my best friend is Uri Geller. You guys remember him? You're probably a bit young.
I remember him on I'm a Celebrity.
Yeah, he did the first ever I'm a Celebrity, get me out of bed, spoon bending and stuff. Yeah. He's nearly 80 now, but he's doing really well.
Where is he?
Yeah, he's got his museum in Israel. And Yuri, how did I get to meet Michael? So media blew up about my success. I was like 19 years old. And it's when mainstream media was very big. So like the newspapers were 20, 30 million copies per day. And they ran with my story, Bully Boy, become millionaire. I was millionaire by the time I was 19. And because it's martial arts, it's a very unusual story, you know, like how the hell did he make any money out of martial arts? And it went on the newspapers. And then on the back of that, you do TV shows because they look for the newspapers for interesting guests. And I did the usual TV shows like morning TV shows, evening shows and stuff. And Yuri was watching and contacted me for his people, wanted to meet me to make a video series on how to stop children being bullied and stuff. And unbeknown to me, his best mate was Michael Jackson. So I would say about a year after knowing Yuri, I had no idea his best friend was Michael Jackson at all. He called me up in the middle of the night. He said, come to my house. If you don't come now, you regret it for the rest of your life. And I came to his house, and Michael was in his living room, and that was it. The rest was history. Me and Mike were friends first for a good period of time, and I could see he was in a bad place financially and emotionally as well. So I took on the role of looking after him free of charge. It was a non-transactional relationship. I think that's why it worked so well. And when I look back at it now, it was like being part of the greatest mastermind of the world. Because when you're friends with Michael Jackson, everybody wants to be your friend. You know, like I used to go around dinner at Mohammed Al Fayed's house, who owned Harrods and the Ritz Hotel in Paris, and have these amazing people mentor me, movie stars and stuff. You know, and at the time I just thought it was normal, but I was part of this very elite group.
How old are you when that was happening?
19.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So how long would you?
10 years. He died in 2009. So I kind of thought it was normal. I just thought my friend was a bit famous. We couldn't go out and do normal things. But then everyone in my network, apart from me, was a superstar. So, yeah, that was my early adult life. I didn't really know any different. And I did have friends that were normal. When I went to draw up the wedding list for my rehearsal marriage, my first wife, I had everyone on the list needed a security detail. So I didn't have anyone really normal. My stag do was like one person. They couldn't come out with me, obviously. They'll shut the town down. But no, that's how I met Mike. And we had on and offs for 10 years. And He's the guy who taught me how to franchise my business, build a brand. He was heavily into martial arts, massively. He's a huge Bruce Lee fan. He knew I could get to Bruce Lee's ex-wife and Bruce Lee's daughter because he wanted to learn what made Bruce Lee relevant all these years. So he could stay relevant. You know, he was always studying the greats and trying to work out how he can make himself more famous and build his legacy. And that's how it came about. So I was never paid as a bodyguard. It just fell into, I never trained as a bodyguard. I was just a martial artist, you know, and self-made. I was already a millionaire. So I guess he thought wouldn't have to any gain. You know, I never made any money off the guy. He's cost me money. If any, I used to pay for his hotel room sometimes because his credit card would get declined, which is well publicized. But yeah, other than that, my life's been normal.
What did you learn from him spending that much time?
Well, Michael was very extremely goal orientated. So he would be very fierce on you to set goals and achieve them. I was telling someone I just had a meeting with an hour ago that in his bedroom now is like where he lived up to about 26, 27. He has a mirror there where he wrote, I want to sell over 100 million records. I want the biggest selling album of all time. And that became Thriller because he was so disappointed with Off the Wall. So Mike was extremely tough on me in regards to the business side. And it all started off with a very simple conversation because initially we're just friends. We'd hang out, we'd go and watch movies at Uri Geller's house in Sonderland-on-Thames, just outside of Reading. We'd go to the movies together and stuff like that, watch The Matrix and things, and have a curry and sit on the floor and eat it. Just normal stuff like you do, friends do. I know it sounds odd for people.
But
Michael Jackson.
Indoors, not
indoors.
Never outdoors.
Well, we'd go to cinemas, but we'd hire the whole cinema out, or he would dress up. Or normally what would happen, which is very annoying, is we'd miss the start of the film and miss the end because we'd have to exit before everyone come out, otherwise he would get mobbed. But yeah, it was an incredible experience, and he taught me everything. I mean, I owe everything to Yuri and him, really. Yuri most on the property investing because he's a very shrewd character. And he taught me they're never going to build any more land. You need to buy properties. So from the age of 19 or 18, I was buying property consistently. Now I've got one of the largest property portfolios in the southwest of the UK. And Michael was all about, why are you messing around with just 5 schools? The world is open to you. And he was very tough on me on a hotel, the Renaissance Hotel in London one day. And he's asking me, how's the business going? I said, it's going good, but the next town is miles away and I can't get anyone to travel. I'm so young. No one's going to work for me who's 30, 40 when I'm only 20 years old, whatever I was back then. And he said, of course you can. It's called franchising. I said, well, no one's ever done that before in martial arts, karate, whatever. He goes, great. That's why you got to do it. And he got out this plan and he wrote down exactly what I need to do: manipulate media, build a brand, script everything. And he, long story short, he introduced me to his licensing lawyer. He had the biggest brand deal ever with Pepsi Cola, one of the biggest celebrity things. He kind of started that endorsement era. And the lawyer said to me, you've got a franchise here in the box. And we sold like 400 franchises in a year after that.
Wow.
But every time he called me, the dynamic of our relationship changed a bit because it was like, how's the business going? Oh, I've done 10 schools this month. Next month, you've got to do 20. And I would say to him, how are you doing, Mike? So I've just signed a $80 million deal to tour Korea. And I feel like crap when I got off the phone, you know. I got up my game. Mike was kicking my ass, you know. But
that's good to be, obviously, surround yourself with people like that because then what they want.
I honestly, I wanted to earn, I know this sounds ridiculous to the public, but I wanted to earn more than Michael Jackson. I wanted to beat Mike.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want his fame, no chance, but I wanted the Neverland, the private jets, everything that he had the ability to do, you know. He didn't have the freedom, but he had everything else. So he was my competitor. He wasn't the highest, richest person in my network, but he was the most famous.
What's the most outlandish thing that you did with him or that group?
The most outlandish thing I did with Michael.
Yeah.
So we could only go out at night time normally because at daytime it would be a right fuss. You know, we'd have to have more than me there to look after him, and within minutes it would be chaotic. So we'd go out at night time. So I think the craziest things we used to do is the black taxi rides. It's very well known. Obviously, he died due to sleep issues. He had a hell of a time sleeping. So we'd have this hotel suite, and I'd have a room off the suite, and he would play the music loud. Normally Lionel Richie or whatever, you know, Motown stuff, and Diana Ross, he was crazy about it. He'd have it on full blast, and he had no consideration whatsoever that I'm in the bedroom off the living room. You know, he just playing. And next morning, he'd always apologise. I'm really sorry for keeping you up all night, Matt. I'm really sorry. But there's one particular night, evening, he fell asleep. I thought, oh, fantastic. So I went to bed early, and then 3 a.m. he's waking me up. I was like, flipping heck. So you all right? He goes, yeah, I want to go tour London. And I was like, how can we tour London at 3:30 in the morning? So we hired a black cab, and he put a cap on. We went out, and the cab driver didn't really know any different because he just thought it was 2 guys getting in the back of a cab. And he wanted to go and see Prince William and Harry. I know that sounds mad to us, right? But to him, it's normal because he was friends with Diana, Princess Diana. And for him, when you're Michael Jackson, you just turn up at palaces and you get let in all around the world. Royalty, the Brunei, the family, the Bahrain. Just knock
on your door.
Yeah, he just gets in. I mean, Barry Gibb says that his windows would go at night, like late at night, 2 a.m, he'd someone would be knocking on his windows in Palm Beach, and Michael turned up unannounced, and that's what he would do. No one would turn him down, you know. So he had this crazy idea, and I did think to myself at the time, but bear in mind, I'm like probably mid-20s here, that he wanted to go to Kensington, Paris, because he's heard that Prince William was there and Prince Harry was there, and he wanted to go and catch up with them and talk to them about their mum and stuff. I thought it was a bad idea. I said, Michael, I can't see how this is going to work if we turn up. He goes, no, it'd be fine, honestly. Once you see Michael Jackson, we're going to walk straight in. We turn up outside.
I'll get into this club, trust me.
Yeah.
Stick with me, it'll be fine.
We turn up outside, and he goes, well, you need to go and tell security you got Michael Jackson. I said, Michael, they're going to think I'm freaking crazy, man. They're going to think I'm mad. And I literally didn't get that far. I got close to the gates as I can, and they're like, get back, get back.
Quick pause from the podcast to give a special shout out to one of our sponsors, the Rejuvenation Doctors. The Rejuvenation Doctors is a hair transplant clinic in the northwest of England in Bury, owned by Dr. Jamie. Now, I can personally vouch for these guys, as I myself around 2 months ago had a hair transplant from Dr. Jamie, and I can't wait to see the growth in the next 3 to 6 months. The service was amazing. It was very VIP. He looked after me throughout, and he made a very uncomfortable experience extremely comfortable and caring. Now, boys, if your hairline's going back, if you're receding, if you've got that McDonald's hairline, do not wait until it's too late. Message Dr. Jamie today at the Rejuvenation Doctors. His tags are in the link to the description of this podcast, and he will sort out your hairline just the same as he's sorting out mine.
Like, whoa, got Michael Jackson in the car. That made it even worse. They got even worse. They started lifting the gun and get back, shouting at me. I was like, okay, hang on. I'll go back to the car. Mike, you need to come out because I can't. He's going to shoot me or something. He goes, yeah, no problem. So he comes out of the car, walks up, takes the camera. He goes, hi, Michael Jackson. He's like, get back. They got back in the car. I said, Mike, that didn't work, did it? He goes, oh, sorry, Matt. And then we drove off. And we went to Big Ben and stuff like that.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
You didn't actually get in. I was expecting you to get in.
Nah.
That taxi driver must have be like, what the fuck is going on?
He's just dressed up as Michael Jackson.
Yeah. Towards the end, the taxi driver realised it's Michael Jackson, right? And because the fans' banners are outside the hotel, and he kind of realised. So Michael said hi to him and stuff like that at the end. And it's quite funny because the next day, you imagine what he went into work and he said to all the other, I had Michael Jackson in my taxi at 3 o'clock last night. They're like, you're joking. Stop, you're having a laugh. You've drank too much or whatever. Michael heard about this. So he spoke to a colleague of his in the media, put a story out there, and he called the taxi firm and said it was true. And the cab drivers claim to fame, but we used to use them a lot. Whenever we used to get stuck in situations, we used to say to a cab driver, back up a bit, and then me and him used to jump in. So sometimes when he was all dressed as Michael Jackson, they used to be looking in the rearview mirror like, what the hell? He was like, focus on the flipping road, will you? To get back to the hotel and escape from the fans and the public. It's the only way we could do it. No one would ever think you'd get a taxi, would they?
Yeah. It's like that a lot, just literally just chaos then.
Absolute, like...
Everywhere around the world.
We used to say the dam would burst. Yeah, we would walk down the corridor. Then Michael would remind us, remember, everyone out there put me where I am. Please do your best to be respectful for them. If it weren't for them, we would all be here.
Wow.
He would be very firm on us and do whatever. So we had to make sure he was okay, but he would want to make sure his fans didn't get hurt. And then we'd be bad cops. So we'd say, like, you know, Mr. Jackson's got a meeting and he needs to come with us now. And God, he used to be screaming and throwing himself
out.
up.
The documentaries on Channel 4.
Yeah, well, it's completely like nonsense. I went and did a documentary on Amazon Prime straight after, And me and his sisters and his family and other friends of his, we ripped that documentary apart completely. I mean, those guys are the same age as me. They are suing the estate at the moment, so I won't go too much into it. But obviously, it's been proven ever since that where they say things took place, where abuse happened and so on, the place wasn't even built then. It was built like 8 or 9 years later. They found the planning documents. Elizabeth Taylor got married at Neverland. And you can see the train stations where the alleged abuse took place and stuff wasn't even there. It wasn't even thought about and so forth. So they've been discredited. They lost their appeal. Although the laws changed slightly now, they're going at it again. What they failed to mention in the documentary is that both the guys are suing for over $100 million to the estate. Had they mentioned that, I think people just turned the channel over. But that came out of the blue. We weren't expecting that. That Wade has been a very loyal supporter of Michael. He was the star witness of the trial in 2004. And the other guy, never even heard of James, to be honest. Wade was very much in contact with Michael. And I know it's nonsense, obviously, because I know Michael like the back of my hand. But
he's probably with him quite a lot as well, right?
Wade was. I'll tell you one memory I have of Wade is when he made a phone call. Now, you got to bear in mind, if he was abused as a kid, just keep that in. But he's saying he's abused between 6, 7, 8 years old or whatever what it was, maybe a bit younger. I remember a phone call coming in where he's asking for permission from Michael to get married at Neverland. Why would you do that? If that place is that bad to you, all these bad, why would you want to get married at Neverland?
Yeah.
You know, because I remember we couldn't do it at the time because Neverland was in disrepair and Michael was very embarrassed getting us to go back and say, well, but it's not really the right time to get married at Neverland. So that must have been around about the 2005-6 time. But yeah, it's all complete nonsense. I mean, the guy was into women.
Oh, really? Shame they're trying to taint someone who's literally not even here anymore as well.
Can't defend themselves.
Well, you see it a lot now, don't you? With anyone who gets attacked, who gets too famous, too big, and you look at Michael was the first one, the Me Too type thing, and then the woke stuff now. Now, if you speak out of place, you go to jail. If you do the wrong tweet, Andrew Tate, whatever you think about him, he can't seem to win. Philip Schofield, Rolf Harris, Max Clifford, all these things that associate happened 30 years ago where there's never really any evidence. And the FBI were following Michael for 10 years, it turned out, tapping his phones. They have nothing. They got nothing at all.
Really, was they looking for the same
Yeah,
claims?
the same things, yeah. Yeah, that district attorney, Tom Sneddon, was after Michael Jackson. Michael used to say it's due to racism because of the success of his family, and where he lived. But I've experienced that. I've been there with Tito Jackson and seen the racial attacks on them from the public in California before.
Do you still speak to the family?
Well, Tito passed away last year, sadly. So we haven't got any reason anymore to have communication because Michael gone, Tito gone. And it kind of went away at the communication with them once Mike passed away because that was the only real reason to have a connection with them all. His mum's still alive. She's 95.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, every now and then I have someone who are close to them, want to reach out, want an answer to something or so forth. But they keep themselves to themselves. I heard from one of their Michael's nephews, not so long ago, offered my help for that very Channel 4 situation. But yeah, the TVs at the moment, with mainstream media dying, you have to come up with some very strong narratives to keep eyeballs on your TV screen with things like podcasts now and stuff like that.
That's why they're doing the try and do it even about Andrew Tate. Like Channel 4 did one about Andrew Tate as well.
I saw that. Well, Channel 4 I've actually had legal action against them before too, where they did a documentary about me and the Jacksons, and I just couldn't believe what I was seeing. And they like the risky stuff. It seems they'll do Andrew Tate. They've done several people, and I believe at one stage. Even Dan Wootton was worried they would come after him. Russell Brand, I think they did, didn't they?
Yeah, they tainted him,
They like the stuff like that. But you can't defame a dead person. So Michael can't sue. The estate can't sue. So they can say what the hell they want. And most of the time you'll see with these TV programs now, I'm not just picking on Channel 4, everyone in general, they'll have actors playing the victims with blacked out faces, where you can't see their faces, fake names. There's no substance to it whatsoever. And it's going to trigger a reaction from the public because some money grabber will think, everyone's on the side here. I'll say that person when I did something to me all these years ago. I got celebrity friends. I won't name them, obviously, but I got friends, very much household names, who've been famous 25 years now, who back then it was seen to be normal to be going out clubbing, getting up to no good with women, etc. You would be egged on to do it. It was different culture back then. I remember the era where these celebrity centers would go to nightclubs and they would sign women's breasts. That was considered normal. Do you remember that? They'd lift their top. Yeah, literally. They'd be there for.
Yeah,
and
they have to get them out to get them signed, don't they?
Well, yeah, that's a good point. And they live in fear every day that one day they're going to get a door knock because they're rich and they're famous and so forth. I've got numerous friends who are in that situation now.
Really? It must, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it must all be.
Because the way it's just mad, isn't it? It's make up whatever you want. And off you go.
So back to when you were 19 years old, and then you've just come into this fame. Did you saying you didn't? Did you have friends before that?
First mates, I want to complete.
No, but you were
I didn't have any mates.
You were saying you didn't really have friends around.
That's a good point. So, bullied at school, usual situation. Failed all school exams. Family comes from a very academic background or trade. Mum was a lawyer. Expected to go to university. That wasn't going to happen with me. So yeah, I mean, my friends were a lot older than me, but they're all like bodybuilders and so on. And I was just fanatical about reading books. Like I'd read 3 to 4 non-fiction books per week, like Tony Robbins and people like that. Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki's work. And I had no one around me of that kind of level. No, not whatsoever. My dream was to be featured in the martial arts magazine that I used to go and buy on my BMX bike once a month for £3.50, and I used to idolize it, and hopefully one day have a little feature on there. I ended up being one of the most featured cover stars of that magazine in my adult life. It was bizarre. Martial Arts Illustrated, and but yeah, the people around me, because it happened so quick. You remember, I started the business when I was 17. I actually started when I was 16 in a hall. But when I was 17, it became under my name. I had to get my girlfriend to sign the lease because I was under 18 at the time. So she changed her surname to Fiddes, so she could sign the lease to get me access. That's how driven I was. And then 6 months later, I had 700 members, and that equated to about £80,000 per month. Wow. And my overheads were about £200 a month. So I was making $1 million a year, over $1 million a year. And then I did that further 4 times around North Devon. Not a full-time building, but I rented school halls. I worked out I could do the same as I did with the full-time building, but with school halls, with very minimal overheads, no business rates or anything, just like £5, £10 an hour school halls back then.
Yeah, star.
It was just me. I was teaching 40 classes a week.
Wow.
But when you get paid that kind of money, you don't moan.
Yeah.
Although I did moan, actually, saying that. But I was able to replace myself fairly quickly. Within about 18 months, I was able to get myself out of teaching and then work on the business and not in it. And then the news about my success got picked up by a news reporter. And then that's how it got to the next level, where I franchised it out. And now it's the biggest in the world. We've got 2,008 locations as of today.
And you're still growing it now?
Still growing, yeah. I'm on a mission. Yeah, I want it to be in every country of the world now.
How many countries is it in currently?
We're very big in Australia, New Zealand. We're in Ireland, UK. We've just signed a deal for Cyprus yesterday. Portugal's in the bag. We've done Germany, but I got offered a megabucks deal to sell that in 2004. But now my non-compete's all run out. I'm going to go back and do that all over again. Germany and Holland.
Yeah.
But no, I'm going to go everywhere.
States?
Oh, so you must have been offered money for this, right? To sell the whole business.
Yeah. It was public, I think. Well, now you mean?
Yeah, no, I mean just.
Oh yeah, we get approached all the time.
Really? How come you haven't sold?
Before lockdown come, I was going through a stage like approaching 40 now. My wife's like, spend a bit more time at home, and we had a kind of deal on the table where I stay on board, but it was like mega bucks deal back then. It was like 35 million to get out, but keep me on board. Franchise would be happy. I'd still be there looking after them. I turned that down because these franchises, you remember, they've been with me like 20 plus years, and they're my family. They are my family. I know their kids. I know where they are on holiday. They're like my closest family. I spend more time with them than I have my siblings, So selling them out is not something I ever wish to do. And then I got the big offer, which is public out there, out of COVID.
How much is that?
120 million. So out of COVID, I got remotivated. So when Boris Johnson went on TV and said, you've got to shut all your businesses down and stuff and so forth, I in a strange kind of way, I enjoyed the challenge, because bear in mind, I'm getting offered all this mega money. It was like a renewal for me. I just turned 40 pretty much too. And I thought, bugger this, I'm going to show the public what we can do. I've got all the franchises on a Zoom, and it's one of those Zooms where you could have the maximum was 1,000 people at the time, and I had Australia on it, and had the partners on it. They're all crying. It was 12:30 at night in my office in Devon, at the head office there. And I'm reassuring them it's going to be okay. Even if I have to sell every property, everything's going to be okay. I'm going to make sure you're going to be fine. And we're going to take this online and do something with it. And I ended it. And the video got my IT guy, Seb, he turned to me, he said, so what are you going to do? So I haven't got a clue, but let's work it out. Yeah. But we managed to turn it all online by the next morning, carry on. Yeah, I started to decline. The memberships did. But I also did what the others did. And I advertised still, but online. We still got MF online now. So we carried on advertising. Everyone else was scared to death thinking, I'm not going to spend any money on advertising. Facebook became very cheap, if you remember. No one was advertising. Social media had the greatest reach it ever would, especially community Facebook groups.
Everyone's on it, yeah.
It's all gone now, isn't it? But yeah, it was unbelievable. Everyone was glued to it. Facebook Lives, you'd be 1,000 people live talking to it at a time. You had a huge audience. So I flipping went for it rather than moan about it. And I said to the franchises, turn off the TV, don't watch the news. I'll keep an eye on the news. If there's anything relevant to the business, I'll let you know. And we grew, and we came out of lockdown 4 times the size. Wow. And all my competitors pretty much wiped out. And the thing I did want to come out to, my franchisees, obviously, naturally, you're scared to spend money out of lockdown because it was a terrifying time for them. So all the bounce back loans they got, government help, they all held close to their chest. I knew they weren't going to promote their businesses. So I took £250,000 of my own money. I thought, sorry, you guys have been so loyal to me. I put that on Facebook, and boom, we owned the industry outright, completely. And still to this day, they're real thankful for what I did for them. And we won the Entrepreneur of the Year award, a proper one, the signature awards where you got to submit your accounts and stuff, not one of these where you buy a seat at the table, you get given one. And won Franchise of the Year and stuff. And yeah, it's so.
What do you do? Like, what's your involvement? Obviously, you're
my involvement.
What do you have to do now, day to day, with that business?
Yeah, so it's not. It's like people think it would be. People are only going to contact me if there's a problem. So I'm putting out challenges. They see them as problems, but they always major and minor things. So I'm putting out the challenges that they come across, or trying to change certain people's mindsets. Like what spending is different from investing and so on. But my day to day is growth strategy. So other countries now, massive franchises, trying to fill up the last remainder bits we've got of the UK. Yeah, I mean, it's a legacy business for me. It's generational wealth for my children. I've got 6 kids. And so my day can take quite a turn depending on what's going on. But
what's the cost for someone to set up their own franchise of your business?
It's unbelievable. It's practically no cost. So I've kept the barrier to entry very low. So they can buy a franchise for £10,000, which is what it was back in 2002 when I first started selling franchises. But they make that money back on pre-sales before they even open up their school.
Like what Omosi does.
Yeah. Like Alex Omosi does. So that gives them 5 locations, or they spend £25,000 up front, and that's multi-locations. But I don't profit on that money. I use that money for 100% launch costs, because I'm only interested in a percentage of what they're going to get. So if they don't make money, I don't make money. Mm-hmm. Whereas most franchises, you'll pay a fixed fee per location. So I only make money. So I've got to get them way up there. And I've only got 3 franchises now that are doing less than £10,000 a month profit. Most of them above £20,000 a month. Oh. But we've been doing this so long now. It's nearly 30 years. So it literally is. They get an empty room, church hall, community centre, school hall, whatever it may be.
Do you find the hall, or do they have to go out and find it?
They find it. We show them exactly what to look for.
Yeah.
And then I have my team at head office that launches them for them on the night. So typically they'll start with 50 to 100 members straight away. And then we take them to 5 schools. But yeah, if you get 100 members, you're doing anywhere between 5 to 10,000 a month. So
that strategy, obviously Alex already talks about it a lot, but could you maybe talk about it, how you did it, or what advice for other people when they're doing it, when you're starting a business, and how to get those people before you even launch as such? The
pre-sale thing, it's very simple. So the fear of starting is what holds people back mainly. So if you're starting off a business, it's like, is it going to work, and so on. The beauty about being a part of a franchise network is the support you've got, and there's a lot of social proof. It's very well known that I've made a lot of money out of this, and we've done that by changing people's lives. And I've only had one location that hasn't worked out, and that basically is because no one lives there. A place called Minehead. It's famous for butlins. It's just old people live there. When I went 3 miles behind to the town, I can't remember, of course, begins with a W, we absolutely went mega, 100 members within the first weekend. So we know what we're looking for. We know how to, the right adverts to go out, the mindset you need to have, and so forth. So we do everything for them. They literally just got to turn up and teach. And even then, the lesson plans are there for them as well. You know, going back like 25 years worth of lesson plans. So yeah, you put the adverts out a week before. We market hard. We work our offline marketing, which is not talked about enough these days. And I think everyone thinks let's rely on Facebook, let's rely on TikTok, or if you get deplatformed, which happens a lot, then you've lost your business. So they still do work with local schools and all the rest, other marketing. They get free money, basically. So we do all that the week before. So on the first night for sign-up night, they're going to get at least 50 members sign up. On an average, say, of £50 a month. And that's coming in per month. So initial investment, they've got back straight away.
Yeah.
So the cost, what's the cost to start a franchise or start a business? It's basically your mindset needs to be in the right place. If they don't pay that 10 or 25 grand, because we spend all of that on launch costs, like I said, the team goes there, Facebook ads and so on, and marketing brochures. They don't pay it, they don't appreciate it, and they don't take action on it. That's one thing I've learned.
Things like they got like we've all bought so many like
Courses and stuff, yeah.
Time, but then sometimes like we'll have a course. I might even like my friend really like
Yeah.
really want to start a business. I'm like, look, I've got this course. I've paid £2,000 for it. Like you can have it for free. Just log in because they haven't paid for
They
it.
don't value
They
it.
never use it. They just don't.
Yeah.
They don't
Well, I
have the
did.
money.
I had an event yesterday. I'm the only one turned up. Had I charged them £100 to go, then it would have been a full room. And we've tested this quite a lot now. I run 3 business and wealth summits per year, and I have guest speakers. My friends come along, like Nigel Farage is a good friend of mine, and I had Kerry Katona. I've had lots of the big names you'd see out there, and they do a slot on like gaining media attention. And Nigel talked about the entrepreneurship and stuff, and obviously people battered him with questions about politics and things, but he draws people in. Now, if I hold that event for free, you probably have 30 in the room. I charged, I think, £29, and if they turn up, they get it back. It was a couple hundred sold out within a day. It's funny the mentality, isn't it?
College, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a.
Well, I've been the same. I've probably bought a few courses and not had courses given to me for free and not even bothered to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like we're just talking about it's paid like a lot of money for the Alex and Rosie book, but I know I'm gonna the playbooks, but I know because I've paid that money, like I have to.
Gotta
read
get
all
the
of
value
them.
out
of it.
Like, and I evidently I have to pay them.
And I think it also just changes your mindset a little bit. So like those books, if you just pick them up and you don't know how much you've paid for them or what they're worth, you might just flick through and maybe you take stuff on the book, maybe not. But if you've paid £6,000 for these books, your mindset the whole
gotta
time you're
read that
reading
damn
is like,
I'll get my £6,000 back.
how can I take this
Yeah.
and make £6,000 or
Yeah,
more in
minimum,
my pocket?
minimum, yeah.
I'm constantly looking for how can I create an opportunity from what I'm actually reading. So you're going in
Yeah.
with a bit more of an open mind. So
And Alex then is getting you to give out that book to 199 other people
Yeah.
who pretty much going to end up on his database and find out. It's a genius marketing
Mad,
strategy.
yeah.
Although
Smart.
you'll find everyone is going to be doing that now.
Yeah.
that's why
everyone.
that's why he says here.
I bet you thought of doing it.
Yeah.
How can I do this?
Yeah.
Gives you ideas, bro. Yeah.
That's
It's
why
nothing new.
He's still did
Yeah.
the postage, so he gets the data. That is genius.
Yeah.
Think about that.
Yeah, I didn't think that.
His databases, you imagine it, it's
Oh.
massive.
Paying for it as well. It's crazy. Yeah.
He's smart. But the thing is, he's not doing anything new. He's been doing stuff like Rob Moore and people have been doing for years.
But now but the good thing of what he does is even cleverer is like he'll ask you to fill out loads about your business, about your revenue and stuff.
And target the life out of
And
you.
then he'll know that if you're a certain thing, like he'll buy your business.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
it's
Getting his leads.
proper what
Yeah.
do you call it, ecosystem of just
Yeah.
excellence. Yeah.
Marketing 101.
Yeah, he shook up this industry, that industry, the entrepreneur mentoring. He shook that up now. I'm part of a few very high level groups of that, and they're all talking about him. They're all like, "How can we do this? You know, figure it out." But it's been something like that. That guy's been planning that for 2 years.
Yeah.
To sit down and record 1,600 ads or whatever he's done. So who's got the guts to spend £4 million on Facebook ads? That
Not many.
on a webinar
Yeah.
when webinars are so staged, supposed
Getting
to
his
be.
money back for sure. That's it. He thought.
Yeah. Apparently, he got 6 million back before the webinar even launched. So, yeah, smart guy.
Balls to the wall.
Pre-launch. Yeah.
He's got the balls. That guy's got the balls. Yeah, he got. It's the thing with business. When your back's up against the wall, you got to do it, haven't you? You know, and him being committed into investing in that kind of Facebook ad, he's going to make sure he's giving value on that webinar to make sure they stay online. And do you know what it is? To me, it's nothing. I can remember the QVC day, which is the shopping channel.
TV shopping, yeah.
He's just done that.
Yeah, that's why I said, but just for this 21st century.
The people can ring in, talk to the celebrity, get questions, and selling in between. He's just done that.
That's what TikTok Live's like now, though, as well, isn't it? That's the same thing. They've just moved it on.
That's where it's all heading.
Yeah.
Apparently in China already, like the live selling is huge.
It's talks about it loads, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you became a millionaire by the time you were 19.
I'm sort of $1 million a year.
So what would you do from the beginning? If you had to do it all over again, what would you do?
What I do?
What would
Well,
you
differently?
Yeah, what would you do differently?
Wow, that's an interesting question, right? Because the thing with the money stuff is once you get past a certain stage, everything else just becomes a bigger problem. So if you, back then, £1 million was a lot of money. You could put it.
What year was this?
You're talking 1999, 2000 then, yeah. But you could do anything you want with £1 million. You could buy your dream home, which I did. I had a mansion at 90. God knows what I was thinking, because I look back at it now and that place was magnificent. 19, 20 years walking around this magnificent place with the grounds. I got a 22-year-old daughter, a 19-year-old daughter, an 80-year-old daughter. I think of the pressure that I must have had on my shoulders, but not really felt it, because I wouldn't want my daughters to have a mansion like that and a business like that and Michael Jackson as your best mate and property portfolio. I'm just weird, just wired up differently, I suppose. But what would I change? The mistakes along the way has been thinking that you need more money. I do it now because I love to help my franchises now to get financially free, because I think there will be future pandemics, there will be future lockdowns, etc. You'll have to bleep that, otherwise you'll get a ban. I've had that happen a hundred times. There will be situation, global warming, or maybe, and it's our duty as parents now to make sure we've got enough money to supply that for the kids. And I know how to make money very, very well, and not for greed, just because I want to help them be able to leave generational wealth. So that's the message that all my clients and all my franchises, business partners are taught. Let's sort your money thing out, then sort your life out. The mistake I made was that I probably would have stopped at around about the 10 million mark and then leave it at that, because nowadays, and this is what I teach now, once you get past 10 million, it's like the old millionaire days. That's the new millionaire. Yeah. You can afford everything apart from private jets and your yacht. And you just hire that if you want to hire that, but you'll split with friends. You don't need to have there is a way you can get a tax benefit of the yachts and the jets, but no, you find the people who actually got them aren't paying tax anyway. They've worked that out, They're surviving on remortgaging debt and stuff like that. So nothing changes past 10 million net worth. Everything's the same. The only thing you're going to add to it is you're going to have bigger stress, bigger problems, less time with your family. So if I could go back, I would have stopped at that stage.
Really?
Yeah. I would have, so that would have been 25 years old. But then the argument to that then would be, what am I going to do all day? Isn't it?
Yeah.
That's the other problem, isn't it? So I love working. I love it. I don't work for the money. I work because I love it. And it's not work for me because I love to do what I do. But yeah, I mean, there's only so many kids I can keep pumping out, isn't there? Right?
People don't understand that though. Like my missus is always like, or people ask me that, oh, you're going to work when you're on holiday or whatever. I'm like, yeah, but I like working. So like,
today's my holiday.
I like,
yeah. Well,
obviously, I like having a break and stuff. But like, if I'm going to work, like, I don't see it as work. I don't mind doing it. Like, it doesn't feel like a
yeah. Yeah, my wife's great with that. My first wife, my rehearsal wife, we got on very well. So I call her rehearsal wife and not ex-wife. She didn't sign up for this Michael Jackson stuff, and she's quite happy to sit at home in front of the TV, watch Netflix, EastEnders. That's what she wants. So in that marriage, it started to be like, how much more money do we need? When are you going to see the kids and stuff? And I got a great relationship with my older three daughters, but they do bring up every now and then. The younger three, they say, you get to spend a lot of time with Daddy. Really? When we were little, we didn't see him so much. Although at the same time, they are set up for life, and they get what they want. And they see me a lot now in their young adulthood. But yeah, it's fair to say I've traded family over the money. And there is no such thing as work-life balance. That's just complete nonsense. Because I have to react. If I'm on holiday and something happens, my franchisee who's paying me 30,000, 40,000 a month, they want me on the damn phone to help them sort it out,
Yeah, it's a constant like it's a constant loop.
Yeah,
So it's
I've been up all night sorting problems out. I've been on holiday and it's been ruined by a major issue that's sorted out. You know, someone dies and there's a business.
people down otherwise, don't you? So-
Yeah. I have to react.
How big's the head office? How many do you have yourself to help run these franchises?
Okay, this will amaze you. So back in the non-online days, because I built this with offline marketing. There was no Facebook, there was no Instagram, there was something called MySpace.
Yeah.
That was it. Nokia phone days. That was the situation. Email was kind of new. You didn't really. The internet was like the screeching noise when it would dial up. You know, very slow.
Yeah, well.
So I had an office of 16 then, and now on the payroll managing this. And then back then I probably had 300 or 400 locations. Now we've got 2008. I have myself, and then in the office we have 2 others. Remotely we have 3 or 4. They're like designers, admin, event bookers, stuff like that. And then everything else is outsourced. So that's it.
Wow.
Yeah, because everything online now has changed so much drastically. I don't need a staff of 15, 16. I couldn't think of anything worse than having 100, 200 staff, you know?
Yeah.
So, and also the nature of franchising is I am what they're buying into. So I'm mentoring them. And I do mentor in person. It's not that they can't get older. They all got my mobile number. They ring me up. WhatsApp I live on all day long. That's how I do it. Voice notes, basically.
Well, I guess some people have multiple locations, right?
Yeah.
How many actual people?
Yeah,
franchise?
2008, yeah.
How many franchise?
How many actual people
What's it?
are going to actually
Ease?
come into? Probably 500 to 600. But then you've got the ones that rely on you quite a bit, and then the ones that are very self-sufficient and just get it and just roll on. The biggest one I've got has got 168 locations.
Wow.
I speak to him every day.
Yeah.
Even Christmas Day.
How much does he make?
He'll be upset with me, but he's way up there. He's like, yeah, like a millionaire. He's way up there. Yeah. He's very happy to see me all the time. He's always smiling. He's always smiling, and he remembers where he comes from. You think he'd be resentful because he's paying me a share of his business back again. But when I met him, he was at a struggling gym business. He was going to lose his home, possibly lose the business, and he remembers very well. He's like he's 64 now, so he's proper old school thinking, you know. And he's grateful to pay me that every month because he remembers how he started off. I remember how I only get paid to make money. So the first 2 or 3 years, this guy didn't listen to a word I said. Would come to every event, wouldn't take action on anything. I even said to my staff, don't bother returning him schools. He's never going to amount to anything. Now he's the world's biggest independent martial arts school owner.
Really, do you know what changed with him? Like, what happened?
Yeah, he said to me, he was in this gym one day, and he had Matt Fiddes martial arts in his studio of the gym, where he has aerobics and so on, and they pay £39 a month. Then he had the gym business, which is forever battling with the machines, which they expect everything. Don't they do the jacuzzis, the saunas, the latest equipment, the music's got to be right, and they're paying like £20 a month. So we had a gym member moaning about the music and the gym equipment, and the cables on their £20 a month on a refund, and then he had someone else come in who's just taken the class, who bowed to him, said, "Thank you so much. This has changed my child's life. They're getting bullied," and they were paying. I think it was a family of about £59 a month. He's thinking, hang on a minute. They're bowing to me and saying thank you and calling me, you know, Mr. So-and-so. This person's paying 20, so he shut the gym down and just did this full time.
Have you got any like really like young success stories? Obviously, you were 19 when you did this. Have you?
Yeah, I've had.
franchisees?
I had one guy, and sadly he made the bad mistake. The problem you got with them is, to be fair to say, you're going to get an ego. So if you get thrusted into that kind of money at 18 years old, and then 22, 23, you start having people in your ear. So I've had 2 or 3 of them who've done that, where I've made them mega successful, 15 to 20,000 pounds a month profit. Then they thought they could do it better on their own, and off they go. They try on their own, and it don't work because they need someone like me who's working around the clock, making sure that they're okay and doing stuff they don't want to do. So I have got quite a few examples of that, but they tend to have people in their ear like, you're paying Matt's company a lot of money now. Don't you think you will do this on your own? And they take the risk legally and so on. So some of them we've had to go. We don't get any more. They don't, because we're going so long. They see the benefits of being part of a huge brand.
We've got the market share as well.
We've got the market share. We do everything for them, literally. You know, they don't have to worry about Facebook consultants, or anything goes wrong, they know Matt's going to take care of it. But the ones that have gone away, they've all rid for a year or two. They've done okay. and then they've fallen off a cliff, literally. And then try to come back again, but their area is gone. You know, and I'm an easygoing guy. Everyone expects me to be quite like ruthless. I'm not ruthless. I shake hands with them, but I know it's never going to work out. I even had a family member of mine try and copy what I've did because they thought, oh, you could do it. Someone's wife got their ears, so you can do what Matt's done. You're making him all this money for his Ferraris and all the rest of it and so forth. Pulled it off for 3 or 4 years and then gone, you know. So it's not easy. Business is not easy. It's not, especially in this era we're in at the moment. And you need to have a mentor, someone to go to and run to. And my biggest franchise, he has a saying that alone is alone. And if you're starting out a business on your own today, and if you're looking to start off a franchise or whatever, if you could go there and see someone who's already done it, you'd be an absolute fool to try and work it all out for yourself and hope you'll get there within 5 or 20 years, or you'll never get there, or spend all the money on the mistakes that I've made. So I've spent more money on my mistakes than I have on my wins. People don't see my mistakes. And I just teach them the wins. So, yeah, we have lots of people who are doing it. You know, they're all doing extremely well.
The people
literally.
that come to you and start off, are they already teachers and they're just sort of piggybacking off your brand, or are they just normal average Joe, could have worked in Tesco's and come to you and go, I want to start?
So they have to have a martial arts background, obviously all dance background. And then we teach them how we want them to be. So they go through MF University, Matt Fiddes University, where they're taught the teaching element, the business element, the curriculum. They're certified by us. We have an independent panel as well. I don't sit on the panel. So when they go for their black belts, nothing to do with me. So no one can point in the hand saying, you know, he's a belt factory. He's just producing bad standards.
Yeah.
I'm not involved in that. They are independent people who don't know the students, non-connection whatsoever. They don't know how long they've been training, you know, who they are, or they've got no personal relationship with them. That was the best thing they ever done. So they grade the same way as a traditional martial arts school would grade. So the other thing we've done differently is we understood that, you know, there's 3 areas of business. You've got sales, you've got the servicing of it. So you've got the marketing, you've got the sales, you've got the servicing of them. Where people go wrong is they spend too much time on area 3, trying to provide the best service in the world. But if you haven't made the sale in the first place or marketed to get the sale, you've got no clients. So all these businesses out there are struggling. Whenever I sit down with them or they come to my events, they're trying to be mentors or consultants, and they're going over the top with providing this great service, but they haven't sorted out their marketing to gain the clients or their sales strategy. And as soon as you tweak that, they're off and running. So, but an average person who buys my franchise don't want to be dealing with the marketing, and they don't want to be dealing with the sales side. They'll leave that down to my team. So that people fear marketing. They put themselves out there. They fear sales, but they're quite happy to provide the service. And
what's the dance stuff that you do then?
It's exactly the same model as the martial arts. It's just you take the martial arts, you plug in dance. We've done it with Pilates as well.
Okay.
We're going to do it with football and other sports as well. So same business model, we just plug it in.
Pilates is getting more and more.
Yeah, it's getting big. That one is.
It is a form of
Yeah.
If people looking to maybe be a franchisee of a business, what do you think they should look out for? Because I know there's some franchises which just take
that is a good question, because franchising in the UK is unregulated. Most books you've seen written about franchising are written by people who've never owned a franchise, let alone a business, right? The franchise governing body, whatever they call it, you don't have to belong to it. The judges on that most of them never own a business, let alone a franchise thing. You've got to be very careful, because you could set up a franchise today and off you go and have no blueprint. You just ask for their bank account, profit and loss. I don't see a problem with that. So in the first years of me, you imagine a 21-year-old asking these millionaires to prove myself to them. They had lawyers, they had accountants writing to me. I had to give my accounts to them to show them the kind of money I was making. I had to prove myself. I was flipping with this ponytail with a Ferrari 355 at 21. They're like, it's too good to be true. How's this kid making all this money? I used to get upset when they'd ask for it, but I was happy for my accountant to release the information. Nowadays, though, that don't happen. You see people buying courses for 25 grand, 30 grand, 40 grand. Masterminds and stuff being part of, buying franchises. In my industry, I see people who I know aren't making money, not doing very well, but they're selling martial arts franchises. But when they fall flat on their face and they've not done well in this mastermind course or franchise, they come back to me and I say, did you ask them how much money they're earning? Did you check they're earning more than you in the first place? Did you check out that they've got a proven track record the last 5 years of good profit? Have they got a pilot in place for a franchise? They never have any of that. People don't do their due diligence anymore. So my biggest advice to all of them is to ask your mentor, ask your coach, before you part with your money, what are you making? Don't take it on face value. We can all rent Lamborghinis, Ferraris, rent a big house, pitch an extra jet. And I know a lot of people who do this, especially in America. So I only mix with the good guys, the real ones. And my friends have shown me their accounts, because I don't do this for the money. I do it for fun. And when I put on events, I appeal to people. Have you ever spent money before on courses and masterminds and found out it's not what you thought? You've been upsold and upsold and upsold and upsold. Come to mine. I'll teach you HMO in half an hour. You don't need a course for a year on that. I'll teach you service accommodation within an hour. I'll teach you how to buy money with no money down, which is not really a thing. It's just basically you can take a bridging loan out, you agree a lower value, you refurb it, you borrow some money, you pay it off, and then it's done. That's done. I've just taught you that in like 30 seconds. You don't need to spend 30 grand on that. You do need it if you need to be kept accountable. That's the difference, So people like Rob Moore, who I've worked with, like, great guy, the real deal, with him and Mark and so forth. So I only link myself with the people that I know behind the scenes. I do them on a personal level. I know what they're earning, the challenges they go through and so forth. But yeah, there's a lot of smokes and mirrors out there, especially since the time where we had to stay at home. Be careful who you part your money with. Yeah.
So the property side of things, talk to us about that. What's your current strategy? What sort of properties do you own?
Biggest portfolio, one of the biggest.
Privately owned.
Yeah.
We're getting outdone by the banks now, obviously. I'm competing with that. Right. My view on property as of now is don't do it. That's basically it. At the moment, don't be involved. It's getting regulated so much now where I've even thought, sell up. Forget it. Just sell the lot, be done. Be blood on the streets, though, literally, because all mine are in the same area. But the government don't recognise it. They've got no respect for private landlords whatsoever. They've all inherited their, like, Nigel's one of my mates, okay? I'll get a bit of stick for that, but Farage is a good friend of mine. And before he's as famous as he is now, and he looks like he could be our next prime minister. And I've always said that to the last year. I knew he had a bit of a cunning plan that he was doing. And he says to me, Matt, there's no one on the front bench of Parliament who've ever had a paper round in their life, let alone a business. So and they're running the economy, and the economy is a flipping business. They're spending our money, our tax money. And not just that, the property they live in, because they're privileged people, they've inherited it from their grandparents and mega bucks money. He's the only one there who's grafted it, had a business, lost and failed, understands what real people are about. Everyone else in there, complete clowns. Even the MP of my local area, I've known of him for years. I've done charity events with him for years. I don't speak to him anymore, obviously, because I'm quite outspoken. I don't think he'd want to speak to me because Farage wants me to represent reform in North Devon, which is where I started everything. But this is a person I know struggled financially, rented accommodation, knows nothing about business, is campaigning in Parliament. I saw a few months ago about how the NHS and the local hospital needs to be improved for more ICU beds and for more, make people healthier. And he's grossly overweight. He can't even look after himself, yet let alone advise the North Devon public on business, the economy, what to do, the hospital, cutting costs down for the NHS. He's not even... he looks, in my opinion, he looks unhealthy. He's not the right person. You need someone in there who knows what they're doing, has gone through the school of hard knocks, his own property, understands landlords.
You had that lady today, right, who resigned because she didn't pay her stamp duty.
The deputy.
Right? Well, I don't agree with this. I just heard about that in that meeting I just had with a book publisher, and he told me, it just flashed up. That's madness. The public will say, oh, you're wrong, Matt, but no, it's not. We all are allowed to do what we do. And that goes on every day, what she's doing. So technically, she's done nothing wrong. But because she's the Deputy Prime Minister, you're done. Back to this whole woke thing, isn't it? She's got no choice. There's no way out because the mainstream media will not leave her alone. They will batter her. And I'm surprised Starmer's still in because Liz Truss quit after, 3 weeks? When she had some pretty damn good ideas in place. But unfortunately, the Queen died straight away the day after. The markets rumbled. and so forth because some of the announcements she made. But she had the right idea. Rather than tax the life out of us, encourage entrepreneurs to go wide, lower their taxes. They recruit more people, pay more NI, pay more taxes themselves, provide more jobs, build the economy up, attract wealth from other countries. I mean, I don't know what the official number is, but I believe it's about 25,000 millionaires have left the UK in the last 5,000, about 13,000 in the last 12 months. And I am one of them. I'm one of them gone. I'll be honest about that. I post that on Instagram. I live in Cyprus now. I don't live in the UK. And that should be stopped. There should be, what I said to Nigel Farage, don't they notice that we have to go? We're being forced. 16 billionaires have gone. We've only got 32 as it is. One of my friends is a billionaire. He's gone to Monaco. Doesn't really want to go. Ain't got a lot of choice, you know?
Yeah, because when you look at how much you're paying, it's...
Oh, yeah, they've introduced employees NI. Well, why would you employ someone nowadays then? Why would you do that? You would just go and take a VA on from South Africa.
Literally always do. I've got marketing agents.
Yeah.
I do the same. Why would I want to employ UK and pay to employ someone, then pay them, and then pension contribution and all the legislation that goes with it, when I could just take on people? They got a different work ethic out there too.
Like, why do they just... Because they can see the statistics, all these millionaires moving, and they just tax people more. I'm just like, can't you see what everyone else is seeing? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, he sees
don't
it.
get it.
Nigel sees it. He sees it.
How easy is it for them to come in and like to, let's say, for him to reverse a lot of this stuff that's Labour's putting in or trying to put in?
How easy? Well, I don't know how it works like in Downing Street, but from what he's told me before he's blew up like this, he's had his plan in place for a while, because he came to my event in Tiverton. This will make you laugh. And he turned up. He had a driver who drove him there. He just came out of I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here. And I called him. I said, look, I've done lots of favours for you over the years. You're very high profile now. Everyone loves you. I need you at my event. He said, oh, Matt, I owe you. I've helped him out with bodyguarding and stuff over the years, stuff like that. So he turned up at my event, and he just walked in the front door and just did the most incredible speech, and everyone loved him. They all were slating me for booking him, but after, they loved the guy. You know, he's fantastic. And he walked out, did autographs, pictures of everyone, was very welcoming. Now when you meet with Nigel, last time I was with Nigel, it was just me and him and a security team of 20 people. Like, Mr. Farage is walking down the corridor, and I'm like, wow, life's changed for you overnight, isn't it? I fancy you coming down to Tiverton and doing another talk. I got no chance. And I had about 300 people in the room. I did a talk for him at his event in Exeter, his reform event, and he sold out the event within 3 days, 1,200 people there. And to get an audience like that, it's unbelievable. I did a keynote speech for him in front of them all. I was scared out of my life, because it's different crowds of what I was used to, political crowd, you know. And I was just talking as a Devon guy for Devon businesses, for farmers and everyone else. And he called me up and asked me if I could do it. I thought long and hard about it, because as soon as you step into that political side and take sides, you get attacked.
Yeah.
And being Nigel's friend, I get a lot of stick. But I introduced him to people like Rob Moore and other people, and he's very much into the entrepreneur scene. He's very pro-entrepreneur.
Do you know how Middleton?
I don't know Ant, no. I know Ollie, who's been on the same show, but I don't know Ant.
He's running for mayor, isn't he?
Yeah, he's running for mayor.
Is he actually doing it, though?
mayor.
He's
Yeah,
doing
I
it,
think
is he?
so.
Oh, fair play, yeah.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I see him at an event, I'm sure it's like a reform event.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
he's doing it under the reform.
Well, yeah, he's with
He's
Farage,
he
isn't
got
he?
cancelled, didn't it? So
Yeah.
Well, this is the thing with Farage. I spoke to Dan Wootton. Dan Wootton was in the car with me, and I asked him, because he used to be the editor of the Sun newspaper, editor of Mail Online. He was my enemy for a long time, because he hated Michael Jackson. Now he thinks Michael's completely innocent, and because how the way he's been treated, he was cancelled from all social, over everything. Like, you wouldn't believe. He was cancelled, and he's doing extremely well. But I helped him through this whole false allegation thing he went through, which came to be nothing. Same sort of stuff as what I was talking about earlier on. I said to Dan, because he's very well placed to understand how politics work, he reports on it all the time. I said, do you think Nigel could be PM? And he said something interesting to me. He said he can be if the mainstream media will let him. It's all down to the mainstream media and the narrative that they put out. Are they going to drag up old stories or girlfriends? Are they going to manipulate it? It's all down to, they have a lot of power still. It's not dying at all. It's they control the narrative.
So have you been attacked by the media?
I had a post I put up about me and Farage about 3 weeks ago, and it was like, sort UK out, let's do it. And I had a picture of me and Nigel on. I hope Nigel gets in as Prime Minister. If he gets in, I'm going to come back to the UK and be a force for good for entrepreneurs and help people out, mentor them for free. Because there was a picture of me and Nigel, I got so much abuse you wouldn't believe. And in the end, my social media team said, we need to take this down. So I took the put the post down.
Really?
Comment section is wild.
Oh, it's just...
Can be, yeah.
You're reading them. Did you read
I don't read it. I don't read them now. No.
What about when you was with Michael? When you get attacked on news with Michael?
No, because this is the thing, right? Because I was friends to a Bodyguard, I've never had a negative comment. There's not a day goes past someone that asked me about Michael Jackson. Or one of his fans stopped me in the street. He's got reportedly 1.2 billion fans or something.
He's got to be the most well-known man on planet Earth.
He got an award in 2006 on Earl's Court, Guinness Book of Records as the most famous man of all time.
Yeah.
And he was very happy actually one day because they did a survey in New York where they had a picture of the current prime minister, which was Bill Clinton, I think it was at the time, and then one of Michael Jackson, and they took it around all the public. Who was the most recognizable one? And the results came in, and it was Michael Jackson. He was so happy. He was more famous than the president. But no, only by overexcited fans and aggressive paparazzi putting cameras in his face, trying to get the shot that they all want and so on. But no, comment section, yeah, you're all going to get mail online and newspapers, but you just don't read it. You know, I see it as an honor. If someone's going to log in under, whatever, Womble idiot dot 123/7/ whatever and comment about me and take their time out of their day and give Mail Online their detail to make an idiot stupid comment about me and Michael, then they've got the problem, not me. And actually there was one story that went viral. I got a Lamborghini Aventador. I bought a yellow Ferrari for my wife. Gets in the media. The hate comments actually ended up paying for the Ferrari in the end for Christmas. And then the comments went wild. Didn't read it. And then a newspaper called out to me and said, how would you put up with this kind of trolling? I said, I love it. It paid for that Ferrari. Because all that media attention went to all my Facebook pages. Then they went to my booking page. They've read more about me. They book into my martial arts schools. They become mentoring clients because they understand I've manipulated the media to my favor. Because I know people will hate on cars, success. They all hate on that. And I did that TV show, Rich House, Poor House. They always refer back to that as well. I make sure I broke the rules to make more publicity. I learned that from Michael, see. So they said to me, can we do a story on how you cope with the trolls? I said, sure. So they did Matt Fiddes story, how would I cope on the trolls? I said, I loved the trolls. They've made me millions. They paid my wife's Ferrari, my lifestyle. The trolls then went and trolled on the story about themselves. They trolled on the story about themselves, the comments. They can't do this. How dare them? And that story went viral. And they did it all over again, maybe a load of money.
Because the viral clips and a lot of the viral stuff that online most of it is because of the negative comments that happened on our clips. The ones that it's like 4 million views, and it's like this guy and he lost his airport. He went all the way to where did he go?
Qatar. Doha.
Obviously, it was a market. So
Yeah.
Go there. But everyone's in the comments like, nah, this guy's fucking lying.
Should have bought a new pair of AirPods.
Why? Yeah. Why were you? You're so dumb. You would have spent more on the flight than the AirPods, and it's like.
Really?
They're not listening to what he's saying. I documented it. It was funny for social media. It's da-da-da.
It's still the headline. They go for headline, picture.
Yeah.
As long as you get that right, they don't read the story properly.
Yeah.
And then, so you get a headline right in the picture, I can kind of manipulate that angle enough that it's going to go viral around the world. But one particular story I did, don't have my secrets here a bit, aren't I? But it doesn't matter. So I bought my wife a yellow F8 Ferrari Spider, 300 grand machine. And it was a stormy weekend. It was Storm Aisha, I think it was called. And I had electricians in my house changing the light bulbs. Yeah, I don't do that because my time's better spent on other stuff. They changed all the light bulbs in my house. And I thought to myself, this storm's bad. We've been told to stay inside, the usual scare tactics that we're used to now. And I thought, hang on a second. They've all got logoed electrical, their brand on the back. I said, guys, do you want some publicity? So yeah, what you got in mind? My electric gates down there at the bottom of my driver, could you get them to malfunction so that they don't work anymore? So, yeah, it's easy. 2 minutes. So let's go out in the storm. I said to my wife, Monique, drive the car. I was a bit more polite than that. I'm not like Andrew Tate, make me a sandwich. But I said, Monique, drive the Ferrari back to in between the car, in between the gates. And then the guys put the gates up against the car. I stood there like this, like that. And the electrician, I said, make sure your logo is facing the camera. So they had Berry Electrical, that's what they were called. And they were confused by the whole thing. They did it. Took the picture. Monique was like that. And I got the nanny on her iPhone to take a picture of that situation. Put it on my Instagram. Everyone be careful out there. It's very stormy. Stay safe. My wife's just come back from the gym. The gates are gone. It's probably caused about £50,000 worth of damage on a £300,000 Christmas present. I'm gutted. Blah, 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 blah. That's the worst thing people want to read when they want to hate on you. Straight off that, within 5 minutes, the Sun, the Mail picked up that story. They don't care if it's true or not. No one asked to see the damage. There was no damage. The downside of it, which I didn't think about, I had to lock the car away in the garage for a month. She couldn't drive it because they all thought it'd been off to repair. That story was so big. I was doing a talk for an entrepreneurs conference in London, and halfway through my talk, someone whispered in my ear, said, just to let you know, your Ferrari story is the biggest story, the fourth biggest story in the world.
What?
At the moment. That's how much people want to hate on, wow, success. It's wrong, really, isn't it?
And you just made it up.
Well, yeah. Yeah. We literally had to hide that car in the garage for 4 weeks.
That's crazy.
And even my franchises know that I've learned this stuff from Jackson and stuff. So they call me up. They're like, listen, is that car really damaged or not? I said, you know, it's one of them called Steve. Steve, you know the score. Because I knew it. But my wife thought it was true. I was going to message his Monique okay. Well, everyone seems to forget. It's a spider, right? She could have pressed the button. The roof would have come down. She's out, gone. She's not stuck in the gates.
Did the electrical company get a lot of...
They were everywhere. Yeah. And I mentioned their name in their Instagram.
It just came to do your life.
And it's a
result.
Yeah, what a touch.
And it's a controlled story as well, because they just rip off your Instagram post, so you ain't got to worry about being misquoted. There's no interviews given or anything like that. They just took what I put. And they took my pictures, they quoted my Instagram. So you imagine what I did to my Instagram. And they go to Instagram to see my link tree. From my link tree, they go to my Facebook. Then they go to my social, then they become clients or members.
What's some tips you could give?
So mainstream media is not dying.
What's some tips you could give towards like that to gain attention nowadays in a world where there's everyone's competing for attention online, to build a brand, whether it's personal or business? What's some key pointers to, like you say, manipulate media? It's
never been so easy, because people always got this thing of mainstream media is dying. Well, when property dies, what do? You go and buy it, don't you? You go in hard. Mainstream media is not dying, it's just more of it. There used to be 3 channels when I was a kid, then Channel 4, then Channel 5 just about came about. And I'm 46, so I can remember that very clearly. Now there's thousands of channels, but that's more opportunity for you all. So as long as you are controversial, that's the key. So Michael Jackson used to teach me all the time, you need to stay interesting for people to stay interested in you. You've got to be interesting. You've got to be this mysterious figure with this stuff going on.
What sort of stuff did he do?
Oh, yeah, I mean, you seen a face mask? Sticky tape on his fingers.
The baby.
Trousers. That's usual
thing. The baby.
There's a bit more to that story. I was in the room on that one.
He's actually in...
Yeah, we're in Berlin. So that one was a very different story. That's
Can you talk us through it?
Yeah, kind of. I can. Okay, I'll tell you. So basically, we had a doctor there, and we had what's now been proven to be a very rogue documentary maker there, called Martin Bashir. And I've been banging on for years. I was in the initial meeting where Martin pitched Michael Jackson. It was just me, Uri Geller, and one other person. This documentary idea of, I'm going to clean up your image. I'm going to show that you're into women, because he's been married twice, had girlfriends. He had a woman problem, not a flipping child problem. And we're going to show all that. We're going to focus on the music, the moonwalk, your concerts, and so on. And Michael had 3 choices: Louis Theroux, Sir David Frost, or Martin Bashir. He wanted Martin Bashir. He should have gone with Sir David Frost. Halfway through the meeting, Bashir got out this crumpled note from Princess Diana, and he gave it to Michael. Michael read it. That was it. Michael was sold. You know, we all wanted him to go with Sir David Frost. We didn't really know much about Bashir other than the Diana thing, but Michael was close friends with Diana, so he wanted to go along with it. And the letter was something along the lines of, thank you for everything you've done for me, Martin. You cleaned up my image. You've done exactly what Michael wanted him to achieve. We left the room, left him alone with Bashir. We thought, being Michael Jackson, you're going to hook this guy up with massive lawyers, corporates who go contracts, can't do this, can't say that, edit control. He didn't do it. And all he agreed with him is that a VHS tape would be delivered to him where he was staying in Miami when it was finished, so he can have approval. Martin didn't turn up that day. Then Michael went into panic mode, because on the last day of filming, and when you watch that documentary, it's called Living with Michael Jackson, most of the footage is of the last day. He knew he was never going to see Michael Jackson again, and he went for him with all the questions that everyone wanted to ask, all the stupid stuff. And Michael panicked and got on the phone to me and Uri, saying, I think I've been stitched up. And we couldn't get hold of Bashir. We tried everything. We couldn't get hold of him. We knew we'd been screwed over. Yuri felt a bit guilty because he introduced him, but all Yuri did really, on Michael's request, 1 out of 3, he introduced him to him and left him to it. It was Michael's decision to go ahead and work, and he picked him over Sir David Frost and Louis Theroux. The baby incident, what happened there, I don't, obviously I was only like mid-20s and I wish I stopped it. Michael was high on something. Something was given to him. He was erratic. He was not himself. He was jittery and so on. And there's clips in the documentary where you'll see where he's got his baby there and he's like, blanket, and he's trying to bottle feed it. He was not himself. And even his ex-wife, Lisa Marie Presley, said as well, she said he was on something. So it was quite obvious to us that he was high. The doctor had given him something, you know, or he took something. And we had a doctor with us who was a bit, at the time. But I'm not someone who can go up to Michael Jackson at the time and say, hey, Mike, you know, calm down. What you've been taking? Because I was a kid, you know, I can't do that. I looked at Michael as old, even though he was 42 then, and I'm 46 now. I looked at him as an old man because I was in my early 20s. You do, don't you? Yeah. I didn't have the authority. That's the word I'm looking for. And no one around didn't want to say anything. And then he got all excited. Martin Bashir said, show everyone outside your kids. We had 1,000 fans out. Show everyone outside your kids, Michael. So he took Prince, the oldest son, out there. And it's a big balcony with a legend underneath it. And they all screamed. Then Paris went out there with Michael. And then they were going screaming for the baby, like crazy. And then Martin was like, go and show them the baby. And Michael was like, I'm not so sure I want to show the baby just yet. Put a towel over their head because he wanted to conceal their appearance so they can have a normal life and not get mobbed at parks and paparazzi follow him. So he convinced Michael to put this towel over the baby's head. Michael went out there. Bear in mind, he was on some kind of substance. I believe it was ephedrine he took, which is like a stronger version of caffeine, which a lot of dancers, bodybuilders take before going on stage or performing, etc. He went out there. So he came back in. We didn't know what's gone on. And then throughout the day, the crowds grew and more media come. Helicopters were going over the hotel. And me and his best mate, Mark Lester. Mark played the original Oliver Twist. Remember that film, Please Sir, Give Me More? Yeah. That's his best mate. The same age. They brought up. They were in all the same magazines as each other. Child stars. We're like, wow, what's going on? So I got no idea. He's famous in Germany like you wouldn't believe. It was just intense. And Michael was so happy seeing what's going on outside. And then a phone call came in from America saying, can you please keep Mr. Jackson away from the TV? I said, well, what's going on? So all around the world, go and turn your TV on. So I went to my bedroom, turned it on, and I could see it was being portrayed as dangling over the balcony. In Germany, the media were saying Michael shows his son to the country because not so tabloidy, but they went for him. You know, he apologized. He did the wrong thing. He knew all that. But that's what went on there. That wasn't a publicity stunt. That was... Then, funny enough, you go back and watch the Martin Bashir from Michael Jackson thing, it's all featured around the baby dangling, they call it.
And that's because he told him to go.
Yeah, we were there. Me and Mark were there. We were there. And we thought, why is he dragging the kids out to the balcony? Because we always did whatever we could to make sure their identity was protected. But he made a point. Show the kids. It'll make good footage, you know. And also, you remember the famous picture where he's got the baby by the arm and the camera's exactly right? Well, that's his production team's camera. It's not, there's not a camera there who's caught that picture just at that right time, at that right moment. High quality, high spec. That's Bashir's people down there.
He orchestrated, basically tested him.
Yeah, many things. He knew exactly what he was doing from the start. Or I think he promised in that initial meeting was a lie when it came out. And Michael, we tried to do our best to get an injunction to stop it coming out. So Michael asked us, the lawyer was called Michelle Boots, who's from London. So we tried. We gave witness statements. Myself, Uri Geller, and the other person in the room. Michael Jackson gave witness statement. We tried to stop it, and we failed because it looked like he signed something. He's so used to signing an autograph. It looked like he signed his rights away at Neverland. And that was the start to the end. Basically, that documentary came out, and just like what you see where people get accused, it got watched by 50 million people.
Yeah.
You know, someone's going to come forward and say it, you know, and do something and have a go. Got proven to be not true, but it destroyed Mike. It killed him. Killed him off.
Going back to what his question was, like, what tips could you give to do, like,
someone starting, like let's say us boys here, like we're trying to build our online presence with the podcast, with our own personal brands. Like, what's some tips or pointers?
So everyone avoids offline, don't they? So think about it this way. Yeah, you don't sell millions of papers per day no more, but the papers always have an online backup. So they have Daily Mail, Mail online, Sun newspaper, Sun online. And then like LA, you'll have the LA Times, you'll have their website equivalent and so forth. So get yourself featured in mainstream media, then you become online. That gives you something called social proof, which is credibility. Then when I'm on stage, how I explain it is that if you've got two companies, you've got two beauty salons, you got one of them, you Google beauty salon in the local area where you are, and you got one that comes up and they got a website, an Instagram, a TikTok. whatever they may have, and that's it. And then you got another one. It's got a website, a TikTok, an Instagram, and then you've got a long list of media stories about them. Which one are you going to pick?
Yeah,
The one with media stories, case studies, and so forth. So you've got to do whatever you can to get in local. Start with local and regional, work up to national, human interest stuff, print media. Go for it. And then the end result is you're going to be embedded in Google forever. So when people search you, and they will search you before they buy, I bet you've searched Alex Moses before you partied up with 6,000, haven't you? Yeah. And no doubt he's got loads of things that comes up. And that's what people are they're forgetting now. They're starting their podcast without trying to build an offline presence. They're ignoring mainstream media. They're not trying to get on TV when it's the easiest time to get on TV now of all time because numbers are declining. So if I go on a morning TV show in the UK, it's not many. When I used to go on, I used to be 20 million watching me. I'd come off, it'd be rumbling. Twitter would go mad. Or X, whatever it's called now. If I go on now, 500,000 people will watch. But by the time I come off, their social media team has put me out on all their ITV sites. All the other newspapers picked it up. All their social media. I'm everywhere. And over a 4-minute interview. So yeah, paying a buck from traveling from Devon to come and sit on the sofa on This Morning or Loose Women or Good Morning Britain for literally a 3-minute clip, and you can't be in control of the conversation like you can with podcasts. But the good side of that is, as soon as you come off, you're everywhere, and your social proof starts built. So if you stick Matt Fiddes in Google, you're going to find over the last 28 years, stories after stories. No martial arts group have got a chance against me because
what do you go on?
No parent's going to pick another martial arts school over mine.
Because coming back to the part where you said being interesting slash controversial.
Yes.
What do you try to, if you're going for the papers or on TV, what do you try and talk about? Martial arts in your business, or try and do something more current and a bit more controversial?
It's a good question. So you need the human interest stuff. People need to be able to relate to you. If I went on TV as a flash millionaire and stuff, it won't work. So I go on there if you're a business person, typically it's a pain that's driven you to work towards the pleasure of having business with lots of money. So with me, the bullying hook is a big thing. No qualifications. Everyone wants to talk about how have I built 120 million fortune plus my property and all the rest of it from nothing, from zero investment, for no parental help, no parental backing. They were against it. They will have you on there. So most people who want to start a business have a story behind them. They just don't realize how to unlock it yet. Maybe they've had an abusive husband. They've grown up in poverty. They've watched their parent be a drug addict. That's the kind of stuff. Maybe they've been depressed. When I talk about, I went for a period of time I was on antidepressants for 3 years, multi-millionaire. Mum died, got divorced. I was going for a bad time. Michael died. When I'm on stage, I talk about me being on antidepressants and sleeping tablets and dark times. They all sit forward. That's what they want to hear. They want you to relate with the thing. I can relate to this guy. If you're a flash dude with your Lamborghini and all the rest of it, and I dress normally and all the rest of it. I'm not against my mates that don't dress normally, because I know one of my mates dresses that's his brand, but they can relate to you, and I think that's what you got to do. What is it that you can offer the media that's going to be of human interest, because all their interest is getting eyeballs on them, and sell advertising space. You got to create a win-win scenario, and it's not that difficult to do. When I put a hand in, I say to raise your hands, you've got to find it hard to find a story about yourself. And they raised their hands. The fact that they're in that room with me that day about growing, scaling, or starting a business is because there's a pain that's driven them there. They don't know it. Within 2 minutes, they told me their life. I've given them their story, and off they go.
Nice.
Yeah.
And how do you go about trying to get on these TV programs, just like outreaching to them?
Use news agencies, because they're the ones who've got to sell it in. There's lots of them around. You just Google them and just say, look, I've got this story. They put it on something called The Wire, and it gets picked up for you.
Okay.
Or just approach them, email them. I've got this story I want to talk about. But it has to be, going back to plugging your business, you got to be good at that. You don't go on, you don't do media. Uri Geller taught me this. Don't go and promote something. Sorry, don't go and use media unless you're able to promote a product or a service. You're wasting your time. So I'll turn down media offers unless I'm going to promote something. I'm promoting Matt Fiddes martial arts here, Matt Fiddes dance. I don't know the bones about it. So I'll find a way of getting in there.
To tie it in to a story that's relatable to people.
Yeah. And when it's live TV, they can't edit it too. So I'll say, through my experience through Matt Fiddes martial arts, I do this. I don't go for, you got 1 month free trial now in free uniform on This Morning. I'll never be back there again. But I'll give them what they want and I'll drop it in. You don't ask them. They won't give you that opportunity. Don't drop it in, but you go for it. If I turn up with this logo on, that's good enough. But a lot of the times they'll ask you to remove it. But it's called plugging. You'll find a way to be able to plug your services and everything you do. It's not hard to do. Every radio interview.
I notice it as well, because I'll notice if I'm watching a TV program and I see a brand.
Yeah.
Most people don't have a brand or don't have the logo. So when you see it, it's good publicity.
Yeah, no, like you got a good example. This is like a little thing. You got Michael Jackson's Bodyguard here. That's all the media are going to be interested in. Clickbait. That's it. This local area, right, wherever I am right now, you can go to your regional paper and say you've introduced Michael Jackson's Bodyguard and pick up 2 or 3 things that came out in this area, which makes it relevant that I've been here and I've sat here. They will run with it, and the chances are national media will run with it, and your podcast is everywhere.
That's what we need to. We've said this before.
You
like,
probably have no end of people.
We need to plan it.
we need to just do it.
It's not
100%.
difficult.
That's what we got on the
They
radio.
won't even believe you. If you call up your local paper, I'm not bigging up myself, but Michael's the biggest, like you said, most famous man. If you call him up and said, listen, he's been on our local town, that alone will make news.
Yeah.
Then you add in some points and then your podcast and how it's doing, where they can find it, and supply it to them ready done, written for them, because they're lazy now. There's not many journalists around in these offices. They'll take that, cut and paste it, put it in, give them the picture, done. And that could go international for you now.
Yeah, we're going to do that. Then they're going to listen to this and be like, oh, that's how they got on.
Yeah.
Matt's
we
honestly been fascinating talking to you for sure. This one could have gone on for ages. Well,
100%.
I think the longest one I've done is about 5 hours. That was
Really?
James Inglis or Liam Tufts, one or the other. But yeah, the attention span.
Hour and a half.
That's about right, I think.
Run them.
Yeah,
That's good.
some people just won't listen to it.
No.
So where can people find you? Where's best to find you online?
Yeah, they just type in Matt Fiddes, Fiddes, into Google, and they'll find all my Instagram and stuff. And you really have got me. You haven't got a robot or a virtual assistant there. I do reply to you, and any questions you want. I'm not going to try and upsell you or sell you nothing. I'm just here to help. So
Nice. Well, yeah, it's been
Thank you so much.
great having you on. Appreciate
you're
it.
welcome. Thanks for having me on, guys.